guys, Samar on this side, back again with new tutorial video. In this video, we are going through a different level of navigation in Flutter through routing. So let's start the video. So guys, I make a freshly new project in Flutter so that I can demonstrate you about routing with navigation in Flutter. In one of the old video of that series, we learn about how to make navigation in our Flutter application and also how can we navigate from one screen to other screen, and also different technique of that, just like push and pop replacement and more things that we saw in that old video. In this video, we are going through the next level of navigation through the routing. I will tell you what is the benefit of routing over normal navigation. Okay, so in that freshly new created project, let me show you the project at first. So that's the by default Flutter created project. So for understanding the routing in the Flutter app, we have to make first a new to screen so that we can navigate through that routing in that to screen. Okay, so what I have to do, under the library folder, I make a new file name as first screen dot and also under that library folder I make another new file that is second screen dot. That will be a dummy screen for demonstrate you about the routing with navigation. Okay, in the first screen, what we have to do, we have to import our favorite package material dot and under that after that what we have to do, we have to make a stateful widget, as you know, and give the name as first screen. And we can do one thing, just here make scaffold, here define the body and make a container having width covering whole screen and height covering whole screen. I just hide the terminal so that it can be looking good in the video. Okay, now what we have to do, here we have to make a column, and here in that column make sure the elements at the center of the screen. So main axis alignment dot center, and in that children we will make a simple thing, just like I give the name as first screen so that we can identify it, and give a decent style, text style, and having the font size of 35 and no other decoration, because we are using that for the routing learning purpose. Okay, after that make a significant face here, constant size bar height 20, and here we have to make a text button, or betterly to say elevated button. Here we will write the further code. Now here child I write go to second screen and make a text style of it. So text style having the font size of 18. Okay, now what we should do, we just copy the code, go to the second screen and paste it, just change the screen name. So what that will be, I just select all and write second screen. Okay, and for the same reason, here we have to write, instead of the first screen we have to write second screen, and here I have to write go to first screen, because from the first screen we want to go to the second screen, and from the second screen we want to go to the first screen. Okay, as we know, if from the first screen if we want to go to the second screen, we have to do navigator.opcontext.push as we seen in the old video of that series. But in this video we are going to do that through the routing. So how can we make the route for every screen? So let's see. So what we have to do, in that main dot, first thing first, I just remove that stateful widget because that no longer will be used, and I also remove that home and just remove all of that stuff, and here I have to write debug show banner false. Okay, we have to write on generate route, and that will be return route settings. Okay, so that method will be written in that way. Okay, but instead of writing that here, we write here route generator dot. Now here we have to write route generator, and here we have to link that route generator dot generate with that main screen. So how can we do that? Very easy. Here we have to write route generator dot generate. Okay, now in that generate method, what we should do, we have to make a switch case here and here I write settings.name. So every screen have a unique route name. If you use if you notice about the website route, just like /home, /login, in every screen in the Flutter having a unique route. Okay, so if the route name, let's say, come at first, that means we have to navigate to the first screen. How can we do that? Very simple. We already learn it in the old video where we learn about normal navigation. So how can we do that? We have to write material page route, and here I have to write first screen. In the same way, if there is second, and we have to write it instead of the first screen, that will be second screen. And we have to make sure that if there is no name specified, just like not first, not second, if there is route name specified in that way, that will be by default forward to a particular route or a particular screen. So we want that when that will be a just only forward/route, that will be by default go to the first screen. Okay, now here we have to do one thing, as there will be a chance of returning null. So what we can do here, under that library I have to make a new screen, error screen dot. Okay, now I just copy the code from the here, and if you paste it here, copy all the things of first screen, write error screen. So just like if our route name is not present with our all screen mapping, so we will redirect it to that error screen. That's why we are making that. Okay, here we have to write error screen, and we have to write here go to the first screen. Okay, so what we have to do here, we have to just copy that whole stuff, and we have to write here error screen, error not summary but screen. So if I go here error screen, that will be so error screen, and that will tell go to the first screen. Okay, now what we have to do in the main.dart file, as you know, by default when we pointing to our main screen in our Flutter project, in the old couple of videos we write in that way, just like home first screen. Okay, we have to write in that way in last couple of videos. But when we use routing, we can write in that way, that totally fine, but we can initialize with a by default router, just like when the app open, by default which screen will be show, that screen router we can specify here. So for that we can remove that home, and we have to write initial route, and by default we want to go to that /route. Okay, so that's by default. If you check here in the generate method, that will be redirect to the first screen. Okay, so in that way you can make the routing. I will tell you what is the benefit of routing over the normal navigation. Just wait a second so that I can tell you very much easily. Now if I make a hot restart, because we change in the root of the project, so if I make a hot restart here you can see when the app is restarted, that is by default showing first screen, because we make the initial routes at /, and here in that on generate method, when the route is /, only, that will be redirect to the first screen. Okay, now we have to go to the second screen. When we click on that, nothing happened because we not set any functionality. So what we have to do, we have to go to the first screen at first, and then in that elevated button we have to forward to the second screen. How can we do that? We have to write navigator dot of context dot push, not only push but push named, because we are going to give a router name here of the screen, not the screen constructor. Okay, so we have to write here now push named, and here we have to write, we have to forward to the second screen. So what we have to do, we have to give the router name for the second screen. So what is the router name for the second screen? That is /second. So what we have to do, easy, in that push name we have to give that route name, and what we have to do, we make a hot reload and click on that go to second screen. That second screen is appearing now. Now in the second screen, what we can do, go to the second screen, and here in the second screen what we want to do, instead of the push name I write here push and remove until. I not explaining what is the work of push and remove until here, because I already told that functionality in the old video where we learn about the navigation in Flutter application. But here we not have to use push and remove until, we have to use push named and remove until. Okay, and as you know, for that push and remove until, we have to write route false. Okay, now if I make a hot reload here, and what I should do, as that will be redirected to the first screen. In the first screen I can make one more thing. In the app bar I write here leading and icon button, so the icon will be icons and color will be white. Okay, and there will be must on press method. I already forget that, so that will be on press method. So on press method, what will we do? That will be return to the previous screen. Now if I format the screen and if I make a hot reload, let's understand what will be happening. We are in the second screen. So in the second screen, when we click on the go to first screen button, that will be called push name and remove until, and that will be then forward to the first. So as you know, that push name and remove until remove all the screen present in that widget stack and forward to the given screen here. So for that, for now, in that considered scenario, that will be the first screen. Okay, so when we want to getting back from the first screen, the black screen will be appear because push name and remove until will remove that second screen from the widget stack, as you know in the old video of that series. So if I make a hot restart here, sorry, that will be the hot reload. I mistakenly done the hot restart. So let's start that. So we are in the first screen, and if we go to the second screen here, okay, now when we click on the first screen, let's see what happened. We go to the first screen, and if I click on that back, the black screen appear, as I told you, because that second screen where we forward to the first screen, that second screen is not now in the widget stack due to that use name and remove until. Hope you understand that. Now we have to make a hot restart because that no screen is present in the widget stack. Okay, so instead of that push and remove until, I write here push, so that we can so that I can tell you another functionality for that routing. Okay, so that will be push named. Okay, make a hot reload here. Now you can tell me, you can ask me, why should we use the routing over that normal navigation? Because in that router generator, we actually indirectly do that normal navigation with that class constructor, right? The main thing is that in that second screen, if I write here many more params, just like final string name, final string age, final string role, that will be, sorry, my mistake, and we want that as a param. So what I write here, required this dot name, required this dot age, required this dot role. Okay, now the problem is that in that first screen, if we forward it in that way, just like I just make a copy here to tell you. So in the old way, how can we do that? We have to write push, and here material page route, and here in the second screen we have to provide all of the values. Now let's compare that two things, that the class, calling the class constructor with that parameter. Actually the code seems messy because now there is 3 parameter. Maybe happen in that production that there will be more than 10 or 12 parameters. That code is getting very much messy. So that's why we prefer routing here. We don't have to remember about the screen name. We just call that route and that will be getting forwarded. Okay, but you can tell me, so if we use that router, so how can we provide that parameters? Because second screen need that parameter badly. So how can we provide that? For that, what we have to do, in that push name we have to provide here a parameter arguments. In that arguments we can provide any kind of object type, just like map, list, or any kind of things, just like your choice. Now here I provide name, and I write my name here. You can write your name here as well, and age, just like an understring. Okay, now we can just comment it out because we no longer use it as of now in this video. Now here what we have to do, as the route generator coming error, because in the second screen we have to pass that arguments. What we have to do here, we have to write settings dot arguments, so the all the arguments will be come here. Now in that second string we have to provide name, we have to provide age, and we have to provide role. So here we have to write argument and name, and if there is any typo or any problem is came, so for that we have to write in that way. Okay, you can just consider it as a map of string dynamic. Okay, now that error is gone, and we just copy paste here. Now give here age and also the role of it. Okay, now what we have to do, instead of hot reload, we can go to the second screen, and in the second screen we can print that value. So here we write name, and that will be widget dot not age but name, that will be age widget dot age, and that will be not be constructor because constant, because that will be a variable value. Also remove that, and here write role and widget dot role. Okay, now let's make a hot restart here so that we can start from that first screen freshly. Now the app is hot restarted. Now if we go to the second screen, you can see that information is showing here, name, age and role. Okay, so in that way, through that router named parameter, we can also pass that parameter as well, and with that router we can make the code as clean as possible, just like in that way. Okay, so that's all about the navigation through routing. That's all for today. Hope you love this video. If you love this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe this channel. The next video of the series is coming very soon. Stay tuned for that. Have a nice day. Bye.